appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thanks for joining us on CoreTV News this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Nigeria's health authorities have confirmed 2 fresh cases of Ebola virus in the country. This brings to 4 the number of Ebola patients undergoing treatment at the isolation ward in Lagos. Health Minister Onyebuchi, as usual, did not mention names, but disclosed that the 2 patients are spouses of 2 Nigerians diagnosed with Ebola.
It's another in a series of regular briefing on the Ebola virus in Nigeria. And coming few days after Health Minister Onyebuchi had denied new Ebola cases, many journalists were eager for an update. The minister announced 2 fresh cases, whom he identified as spouses of 2 Nigerians who had primary contact with the index case.
Nigeria has now recorded the first 2 cases of Ebola virus disease in secondary contacts of the index case, that is the Liberian American. The 2 patients are spouses of the primary contacts of the Liberian American, and they are among the secondary contacts who have been under surveillance. This now brings to 4 the total number of Ebola virus disease patients currently under treatment at the isolation ward in Lagos.
There had been reports of poor treatment of Ebola patients in the isolation ward, but the minister is quick to clear the air on the condition of patients in quarantine.
Where the patient is anemic and needs blood, we transfuse. So a few of the patients actually had blood transfusion. And then nutrition, micronutrients, everything about nutrition. Okay? And some papers were reporting there were issues with food. We have investigated, talked to family members. Everybody says no. Reason being that the food is tailored to each specific patient.
He also spoke on local efforts to get a cure for the disease.
We are still, remember, we set up a treatment research group, and they are working. Okay, just that the work they are producing for now, it's not conclusive, so we cannot for now report to the media. But they are working. They are already identifying so many of these experimental drugs that some other people have used. But all of them are experimental, and hopefully soon they would give the Minister of Health a definitive advice on what we should do.
And in spite of the increase in the number of Ebola cases in the country, the health minister says there is no cause to panic. He insists that with 5 previous cases cleared to go home, Nigeria has the highest percentage of Ebola survivors in the world.
Meanwhile, the federal government has stated that it's further stepping up its surveillance at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos to prevent another cross-border transmission of the deadly Ebola virus disease to Nigeria. Director of Port Health Services at the airport, Morenike Alex Oko, says since the Lagos airport is a major aviation hub in the West African sub-region, the screening services would not be relaxed. Alex Oko spoke on Lagos while taking delivery of 30 non-contact forehead infrared thermometers donated by the United States Diplomatic Mission in Nigeria to the federal government. The senior port health official noted that since the index Ebola case of the late Liberian American Patrick Sawyer was recorded at Lagos Airport, the MMA authorities had remained on full alert. According to her, the 30 thermometers newly donated by the U.S. government was used for use at the airport were more accurate than what was being used for the detection of probable Ebola patients among arriving and departing passengers. Defying Ebola scare, hundreds of indigents thronged the Osun-Osogbo Grove to celebrate the 2014 Osun-Osogbo Festival. Although the festival, which is now known as the world over as one of the biggest tourist attractions in this part of the world, did not attract a large crowd associated with it following the spread of Ebola virus disease. This year's celebration was strictly observed by Osun worshippers who used the Osun waters to symbolically wash off Ebola and all other diseases from the land. Rashid was there and found in this report.
The yearly Osun-Osogbo Festival is always celebrated amid pomp and pageantry. The high point of the festival is the procession of the water lake back to the Osun Grove. Traditionally, this procession is always done after some rites must have been performed by the king in his palace. This year's celebration followed the age-long tradition. Osun worshippers and Osogbo residents defy the early morning rain to follow the Ebola procession as she moves through the streets of Osogbo leading to the Osun Grove. A new color was added to the annual event with the presence of health workers how to manage any health issue, including the deadly Ebola virus. The main reason why the festival was celebrated in a low-key this year was to protect the state from the spread of Ebola. Araba of Osogbo Fayemi Elebubon gave historical background to the importance of the Osun-Osogbo Festival.
It is to acknowledge, to give homage to our ancestors, also to appreciate the work of Osun. Osun make a pact with our ancestor that annually we have to come to acknowledge her for her protection and for the blessing she has been showered to this town, Osogbo.
Foreigners were strictly shut out of this year's celebration, but some foreign traditionalists ignore these warnings and attend the festival.
I think that this celebration is very, very important. I think that us recognizing and paying homage to Osun is very, very important, and I urge people all over the world to come here every year to celebrate with our Osun-Osogbo Festival.
Osun Grove is one of the UNESCO Heritage Site and the festival one of the recognized international traditional festival. The Director General of Nigerian Tourism Development Commission, Sally Mbanefo, says Nigerian culture is rich and should be sold to the world.
Encourage other Nigerians to come and see the rich culture that we have. And those of you that travel, when you go abroad, talk to the foreigners about coming to Nigeria to enjoy our beautiful cultural festival.
Osun is our cultural heritage, and that is what we are celebrating today. And we should all adore it and make sure we look after it because this is our culture.
Fear of Ebola outbreak made Osun organizers prune down activities and curtail the influx of people to the Osun River. Osun adherents, in their opinion, believe that people should be allowed to attend the festival despite outbreak of any disease.
If anybody has Ebola, they can even come and wash for Osun to heal them.
And although it is a concern for many people, that Osun will protect us all and see to it that we all are not healthy, not just today, but for the rest of this year.
The spiritual importance and potence of Osun River, which is even believed by Osun worshippers, has made people to defy the Ebola outbreak and serious warnings from the government to come around to celebrate this year's Osun-Osogbo Festival. Osun-Osogbo Festival and Osun River, as it is to some people, has come to be a symbol that will be reckoned with no matter what. Rashid, CoreTV News, Osogbo.
The Bring Back a Girls group on Friday staged a protest march in Abuja to commemorate the 130th day of the abduction of 219 schoolgirls from Chibok, Borno State by insurgents. The march took members of the group from the Unity Fountain, venue of the daily sit-out, to the Federal Secretariat. Speaking during the march, the campaign's co-convener, Obi Ezekwesili, said the girls have suffered enough in the hands of their abductors and should not be ignored by government and Nigerians. Other speakers appealed to President Goodluck Jonathan to use all available means to get the girls back, while also calling on government to protect its citizens and territory from terrorists.
We who are saying to the federal government, get the Chibok girls, we are in that statement saying to the federal government, deal with the terrorists. Get the girls. You cannot leave Nigeria to be under this kind of a feeling of weakness, as if we are suddenly a nation state that is not capable. We're talking about terrorists. No matter the number they are, we are Nigeria. This is Nigeria. When did we become such a weak country? We're not weak. We must go after these terrorists and get our girls. We need to get our girls in order to make a clear statement to any set of people that they cannot do this to Nigeria.
I think it's absolutely necessary that government should consider all means, and that includes negotiating with them. That may include meeting some of their needs, because the lives of these girls are extremely precious, and whatever needs to be done to secure their release should be done.
We're still demanding that the girls should be rescued. They deserve to be rescued. When you have a government in place, the number one responsibility of government is to provide security and well-being. And wherever these girls are, it is the responsibility of government to ensure that they are brought back alive. Government has said since May that it knows where the girls are. So what is stopping the government from getting the girls back and alive?
The Inspector General of Police, Sulaiman Abba, has refused to comment on claims that insurgents have taken over the police academy in Goza, Borno State. CoreTV News threw the question at him on the sidelines of the decoration of senior police officers in Abuja, but he said the police spokesman would issue a response soon.
It is said that the members of the terrorist group Boko Haram have taken over Goza in Maiduguri. Can you confirm this to us?
Well, the first PRO will certainly brief you where necessary.
Now the last minute have been heard of the removal of Murtala Nyako as Adamawa State Governor. A legal firm, Flex Chambers, led by Olukoya Ogunbeje, had approached the Lagos High Court to declare the former governor's impeachment illegal. The presiding vacation judge Okon Abang, who accused the case when it came up for mention at the Lagos High Court, explained that the plaintiff and the defense counsels need to come to compromise for the case to proceed in vacation. Omotayo was at the court sitting and filed in this report.
Mixed reactions have continued to trail the July 23rd impeachment of Adamawa State Governor Murtala Nyako. While many believe that the action taken by Adamawa lawmakers is justified for the fact that the governor failed to account for state funds he was accused of misappropriating, others argue that he was hoodwinked out of office as the impeachment did not follow due process. Far away from Adamawa State, legal practitioners with a passion for God and the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution have challenged the decision of the Adamawa State House of Assembly to impeach Nyako, claiming it is unconstitutional. These individuals have decided to approach the Federal High Court to declare the former governor's removal illegal so as to set the right precedents in law. Head Solicitor Law Felix Chambers Olukoya Ogunbeje says that the trial of Murtala Nyako was biased and a complete breach of his fundamental human right to fair hearing.
If you say Murtala Nyako has embezzled 20 billion, whatever, we are not interested in that. I don't know Nyako from anywhere. I don't know him from Adam. But you see, the world is a global village. What comes around goes around, or what goes around turns around. So, as a constitutional lawyer, I think I have a duty to the Nigerian nation to challenge any constitutional infraction. And by so doing, I'm even doing a great service to myself, to the human community, to Nigeria and the world at large.
Counsel to the plaintiffs stressed that victory in this case will set the right precedents in law and send the signal to politicians that they would not get away with impunity.
They really want to impeach him based on the merits. People should not get this wrong. Our argument before the court is not on the merits. It's not on whether he is guilty or is not guilty. That's not the point. Rule of law simply means that whatever you're going to do as a government body or agency, you must follow the procedures of the law. Failure to do that vitiates everything that you have done.
This case is one that will be keenly followed by politicians and the media world. As we speak, the Independent Electoral Commission is planning a by-election for Adamawa State. Many believe the era of Murtala Nyako as Adamawa governor is gone for good. However, the set of lawyers are hell-bent on having Nyako's impeachment declared null and void. Time will reveal to us on whose side the law is. Omotayo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Meanwhile, constitutional lawyer Fred Agbaje has condemned the impeachment sagas going on in some parts of the country, describing it as a function of a weak constitution. He noted that some individuals are capitalizing on the loopholes in the constitution to create confusion in the polity. For Agbaje, a constitution should clearly state what constitutes an impeachment offense. He dismissed the recent impeachment move against the Enugu State Deputy Governor as laughable.
When you look at Section 188 of the Constitution, where impeachable conduct is defined, one, as any action of the governor or deputy governor that violates any of the clear provisions of this Constitution, any action that violates it is an impeachment conduct. That's one. The second one, which is the most embarrassing definition, I have never seen an unintelligent definition as the second one, which has to do with the fact that an impeachable conduct is any act which members of the House of Assembly consider to be a misconduct. Impeachable conduct under the Constitution means any act that amounts to violation of the Constitution, or any act which the members of the State House of Assembly consider to be a misconduct. The question is this. The problem is always with the second leg of that definition of impeachable conduct. Nothing to do with the management of the office of the governor or the office of the deputy governor. It has nothing to do with his performance. Otherwise, what has the rearing of fowl, whether for commercial or not commercial basis? And the man says, yes, I'm rearing it, but it's not for commercial basis. But they said it's for commercial. Won't tell you, Baba lady. How has that? The question I would have asked myself is this: how does the rearing of chicken or the sale of egg, how does it affect my performance as a deputy governor? Impeachment misconduct.
So are we good to say that the Nigerian constitution is faulty?
It's fundamentally faulty. That's my answer. It's fundamental. When they begin to talk about amendment of the present constitution, whether by the members of the National Assembly or the defunct members of what do you call them that have just folded them? National Conference. These are the areas I had expected members of the National Conference to look at. How do we amend this? How do we bring to an end this incessant impeachment that have become a chariot, that have become a weapon to be used against a governor that was elected by all the that was elected by everybody in all the local government of the state?
A former Minister of Information, Edwin Clark, says President Goodluck Jonathan will contest the 2015 presidential election and no one can stop him. He explains there was no way another 4 years of Jonathan's presidency would bring an end to the country, adding that all those who had ruled the country before spent 2 terms. Clark stated this in Abuja on Friday while playing host to a delegation of Northern Women in Politics under the aegis of Northern Women Mass Movement for President Jonathan 2015 ambition. He says he was sorry for the Northern Elders Forum, who claimed he had been accusing the president of neglecting the region. Clark added that it was wrong to accuse the president of developing his region, adding that he even resisted pressure to appoint the Inspector General of Police from his region. He also noted that for the first time in the history of the nation, 2 Inspector Generals of Police were appointed consecutively from the north. Back in Lagos, the Lagos State Governor Berbatov has promised unhindered access to service for residents of the state. Fashola stated this while addressing journalists after a State Executive Council and Permanent Secretary's retreat held in Victoria Island, Lagos. He maintained that the state government will continue to explore innovative ways that will bring governors nearer to the people.
So it's nothing really exoteric. We're just raising standards, we always self-challenge, and in order to improve upon what we have done. We review what we have done before, we see how well it is working, how citizens are reacting to it, and what we can do to improve it. We continue to self-examine ourselves, check that assignments that we are given have been carried out, and if they haven't been carried out, who is holding us back? The team must always win.
The theme of this year's retreat, which marks the 6th edition, is tagged Upscaling the Processes and Benefits of E-Governance in Lagos. You're watching CoreTV News on the hour. We'll be back shortly with more stories after this break.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
One continent, 54 countries, over 2,000 languages, but united with similar interests. As news breaks, we give you in-depth analysis around Africa every Monday on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. As the crisis in Ukraine continues, the United States government has called on Russia to immediately withdraw its humanitarian convoy from Ukraine. Speaking to reporters in Washington, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby says the United States government will not accept the unauthorized presence of any Russian military personnel under whatever guise. He says Russia must immediately withdraw its military personnel from Ukraine or face further costs and isolation. He added that the United States government has made its position on the matter clear, urging Moscow to respect Kiev's sovereignty.
Very concerned by the movement of a Russian convoy across Ukraine's border. We strongly condemn this action and any actions that Russian forces take that increase tensions in the region. Russia should not send vehicles, persons, or cargo of any kind into Ukraine, whether under the guise of humanitarian convoys or any other pretext, without Kiev's express permission. This is a violation of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity by Russia. Russia must remove its vehicles and its personnel from the territory of Ukraine immediately. Failure to do so will result in additional costs and isolation.
And on sport, as Monaco continue unabated with no points from 2 matches, coach Leonard Ojadim and striker Dimitar Berbatov say they are not bothered by the present but working hard to achieve the objectives of the team for the season. Berbatov says the players are working very hard to correct the mistakes they have made in the past 2 matches with a view to producing a better result in the subsequent matches. He says the season will be long and all teams will win and lose, and it will be premature to start pressing the panic buttons now.
Yeah, obviously it's a bad start, not the one we expected. But the answer is probably don't worry too much. Just keep on working, listen what the coach wants from the team, and next game comes, we need to win, obviously. So every team is going to lose, every team is going to win. We're going to lose again sometime in the future, but I hope it's not going to be on Sunday. So let's. We are working hard in the week, very hard actually, to correct every mistake we've made in the past 2 games, and hopefully we will do that on Sunday.
And that wraps it this hour in CoreTV News. I'll be back at the tip of the hour with more. Up next is the dailies. Stay with us.